The two exclusives we promised you as prison riots lead the news. We've an exclusive from inside one. Argument is raging over prison conditions, but a small team has been making radio programs from inside, beaming into thousands of jail cells for 10 years. For the first time ever, an event in Brixton Prison a few days ago was relayed live to jails all over the country. We were the only broadcast team from outside allowed in. As argument rages over what's happening in prisons, we can tune the event run by Letters Live on a network that few have heard who've not served time, called NPR, National Prison Radio. Headed into the chapel, two doors, a wooden one, and then here it is, shutting behind the wooden door. And now here's the grate. Iron door. Here we are. Victorian Chapel of Brixton Prison.
Radio by prisoners, for prisoners.
NPR. This is Letters from the Inside, live on National Prison Radio.
For 10 years, National Prison Radio has been beamed into thousands of prison cells, including one occupied by Jonathan Aiken, the former minister. Here he was in 2008, interviewed by another inmate on NPR.
Can you explain for our listeners what your first night in prison was like for you?
The experience that frightened me was listening from my cell to a chant. The gist of it was, that expletive deletive Aitken has now arrived in tomorrow morning, lads, let's show him. And then there followed a stream of highly obscene, often rather violent, very anatomical suggestions about what they might do to various parts of my body to show me what they thought of effing Tory cabinet ministers.
Please welcome Mark Strong.
Whilst the rest of us increasingly tap on tablets and screens, prisoners send thousands of letters, families outside the gates, and to prison radio. Letters like this one from John, whose sister died while she was serving her sentence.
Friday the 8th of March 2013. Dear NPR, I would like to share with you something that happened while I was in custody. It started when I got a letter.
He described in the letter how his sister lies sick with cancer and he's allowed to leave her alone. And then, back in prison, the message was read.
I miss her no less each day. She will wait at the gates for me, free from the pain and suffering in this life. I was hoping for a funeral change, and I can't forgive myself for that. I want to say a big thanks to the lads for their support. I was helped by these so-called criminals who showed me compassion that was beyond anything I thought possible. These people will know who they are. But from my heart, thank you.
And there are thousands more letters like these. Jamie Bing from Letters Live says the written word endures despite the technological revolution.
I think it's wrong to think that this era we're living in won't be chronicled through words by other people. But I think something is being lost though, because there's no question when you are handwriting something. I think people think a bit more. People often write letters and rewrite them or don't send them, much more often than the email or the text, which you sometimes regret sending it the next day.
Well, you do. I was always told, say it in anger, say it in drink, never ever say it in ink. But that doesn't help you. Actors Olivia Colman and Russell Brand, who were there for the event, both agree that the letter is under pressure.
They're so powerful, they're so beautiful, and you can keep them forever. And hearing the thoughts of some of the people we've heard today, I'm so pleased we still have those letters.
Did you write any in your life, Olivia?
No, I really should. I used to. My godfather used to only accept letters, and I loved him. He was a lovely man. He's gone now, but I'd like to, maybe I'll carry on.
That's a great tip. Tell your godchild only if you write a letter when you hear from her again.
That's a good idea.
And then you're someone who's quick thinking. You have got yourself into trouble by things you've said. Equally, you stood up for them. Do you like what a letter brings out in you?
Yes, I think I do, as a matter of fact.
said that oratory was initially given priority as being closer to veracity, but perhaps it's a different kind of truth that appears when we have time to reflect.
Please welcome Julia Howard.
Julia Howard served 18 months for perverting the course of justice. Now free, she has a job and credit to radio.
Dear Jane, what you don't realise now is that your life will be like a big circle.
What is it about prison radio that seems to have helped you inside and now outside?
Whilst in prison, it's the only kind of bit of prison, other than your phone calls home, that you remind you that you're not a number, that you're human, that you are actually valued and worth something. I'm proud of you because you will never settle for anything less that you think you can attain. Love, Jane.
The whole evening was beamed live into prisons across England and Wales. I asked Phil Maguire from NPR, after 10 years of this work, are there people who think this is all a privilege too far?
The purpose of National Prison Radio is to support a reduction in reoffending. We do that by broadcasting programmes about a range of services that are available to better equip prisoners for life on the outside.
To all at NPR.
Dear sir.
Dear editor.
Dear little boy.
And so, after the worst prison riots in years, some may well want privileges like TV and radio removed. If you do feel strongly either way, we invite you to do the obvious thing and send us a letter.
Sincerely, Lucian Troy. Many thanks, Anthony.
Goodbye, old friend. Endless love. See you down the road.
There are highlights of that evening, which was a rare event, I think you probably agree, on the National Prison Radio website. If you put it into your web browser, you'll find that. I'm in something of a crunch, not on air for the rest of the year. I can't bring you really reaction until January about what's being said about this morning's programme, although things are coming thick and fast. We welcome back Candice Brown, the Bake Off winner. Where have you been for the last half hour, Candice?
Where have I been? I've been sat having a lovely chat, having a cup of coffee, and yogurt.
Lovely. Will you rate what's in this tin? If I pass you the tin,
okay.
You can open it and then rate what's in it.
Did you make them yourself?
These are made by Darren.
Oh.
We're looking at mince pies.
They smell delightful.
Now, let's first of all talk about the thinness of the pastry.
The pastry is of a very good width. I like it, and there's no soggy bottoms.
It's basically, I would describe it as being the thickness of a 50p piece. She's gone thin.
I think that's good. Thin pastry and a lot of filling, which is good as well. So
she says she doesn't cheat on pastry, although of course Delia says you can. What's your view?
I love making pastry. Sorry, I just went straight in for the kill, mouthful of mince pie.
How's it?
Really good. Tastes like Christmas.
No, there's a lovely thing to say about what Diane's done. But is it all right to just use the pre-made pastry?
Do you know what? I think you can buy, such good quality pastry now. Then yeah, it's absolutely fine. But I love making pastry, and I think if you've got a little bit of time, you can do it. And it's not a long pastry. Things like your short crust or flaky pastry, you can do quite quickly as well.
I want to talk about Michael Caine's potatoes. Now, famously...
Don't we all?
There we are. I promised you the innuendo. I promised it 2 hours ago. No, famously, he was on Desert Island Discs about 5 years ago. And here he is. And you can now rate Michael Caine's potatoes.
My tip is pre-cook them and put them in cold fat, not hot fat, so it soaks in. Get them absolutely dry, let them steam and go dry, put the lid back on, shake them so they go all fluffy, and then put them in cold olive oil with rosemary and sage in it.
Love that voice. His voice. What a man.
But what about his potatoes?
What about his potatoes? That is a good question. Do you know what? I haven't heard about. I would always used to get beef dripping or goose fat or something like that to cook potatoes in. Not olive oil, but I quite like that.
He's also talking about parboiling. Well, that's
yeah,
cooking 101 with the roast potato.
That is a great way of doing it. Shake them all up so you get all the rough edges, and then it absorbs the fat, which is when you get the real crunch on the outside and the stuff in the middle. So it's not cold. It's not heard about it cold.
Also, I want to talk about the baking tray that the roast potatoes sit on. I have heard from the person who does the best in my circle that the baking tray should be low down, not a high side baking tray?
Personally, I don't think it really matters too much.
That's fine. We can just dismiss these things that are said to me as much as you like. Now we're going to go on to your other sheets. What's a good sheet for Christmas?
A good sheet for Christmas is get as much as you can done, like beforehand. So, for instance, puddings and things like that. I am partial to a pudding. I'm not sure if anybody knows that. So things like profiteroles you can make and freeze. So make them, bake them, so you've got your little balls of loveliness, and then freeze them. So all you need to do, they take 10-15 minutes to defrost because they're so light. Pop them in the oven for a minute to refresh, and that's great because I think the oven is used so much on Christmas Day.
Give it a break.
Give it a break, but you can't mess around with cake and things. You can't change the temperature, and I think when you're opening and closing the oven, you don't want to be having a cake in there, and that can upset that. So do it the night before.
Candice, you've been so kind. Everyone wants a piece of you, pardon the pun, and you've come to the 8 on our last programme of the year. 2016 was a big media story as the Bake Off went to Channel 4. Paul Hollywood's gone. Would you go and help him out over there on Channel 4?
Do you know what? I cannot wait to watch it. I cannot wait to watch it. I watched it as a fan from the very first series. I watched it this series as a fan, and you know, I'm really looking forward to see what they do with it.
So that's not the same as joining him as a presenter, for instance?
No, I think he will do a fab job. He's so knowledgeable, and I think however they deal with it, it'll be brilliant, and I'm really looking forward to seeing what they do and watching it again.
Well, it sounds like there may be an open door, an open advent window. Candice, thank you very much for coming. Do stay and meet Diana, who's been pleased about what you said. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much for having me.
Candice Brown, Bake Off winner 2016. We can join Theresa May in her kitchen, where it's not so much leathers as feathers.
We're jamming, I want to jam it with you. Oh, we're jamming. Actually hate Bob Marley. And jam, I really hate jam. Damn you, civil service. I said just managing, not just about managing. Why does everything have to be an acronym? And now, I'm the one just about managing. I have jammed myself into a corner. All right for you, David Cameron, swanning off around the world, leaving me with your mess. Can there be anyone in Britain more frustrated than me? Apart from Southern Rail commuters and the entire Parliamentary Labour Party. And perhaps Michael Gove. Is this goose ever going to be cooked? And I hate Chinese Five Spice. I only said it because China's next on the list for one of Boris's indiscretions. And I wanted to get in there first. And these tomatoes to chop. Never mind. I imagine they're Gina Miller, Anna Sudbury, Nicky Morgan. Oh, it squirted all over my trousers. Just as well leathers wiped clean. Now, if I make 2 Christmas and have one on the 25th and keep the other one, I can have my cake and eat it. Oh, dear. I guess I don't know how to have a laugh. We're jamming. We're jamming. I like jamming too. I don't know why it's jamming.
And we're here with our press review guests enjoying Jan Ravensdale in a sketch written for us by Mandy Baker. He is the former First Sea Lord of the Admiral. Sorry, I've got that completely. Admiral Lord West. That's fine. There's nothing former about you, is there?
Not that I was aware.
No, you're totally live and present. And Dr. Pippa Mulgrew is the George W. Bush advisor and author of Signs. Welcome.
Signals.
This is not going as well as it could. Signals is the bestseller. Let's start with you, West. The Sunday Times front page